Have you ever looked at a peculiar object and wondered, is it just a decoration, or does it hold a mysterious power beyond what the eye can see? From glowing crystals and talismans etched with ancient symbols to magic mirrors, prophetic orbs, or rings said to seal potent energies, the world is brimming with mystical artifacts that our ancestors wielded for thousands of years. In this video, we'll embark on a journey to uncover every kind of mystical object, from tools of astrology and feng shui treasures to items used in magical rituals and symbols crafted to commune with the unseen. Each piece carries a story, a belief, or a current of energy that has shaped the destinies of those who wielded them. You'll discover why ancient people believed an amulet could shield them from death, why a black mirror was used to glimpse the future, and why stones like obsidian, tiger's eye, or amethyst are still used by modern mystics to balance chakras and elevate vibrational frequencies. If you've ever wondered, do these mystical objects actually work? Or are simply curious about the symbols and energies hidden within these enigmatic artifacts? This video is your gateway to a world you never thought could be real. 1. The Black Stone. Sacred relic of heaven and earth, the Black Stone, or Al-Hajar al-Aswad, is one of the most revered objects in the Islamic world. Embedded in the eastern corner of the Kaaba, the cube-shaped building at the heart of Masjid Al-Haram in Mecca, this enigmatic relic is not just a religious symbol, it is a physical link between the divine and the earthly realms. For Muslims, it marks the spot where the rituals of Hajj begin and where the story of humanity, according to Islamic tradition, once restarted after the fall from paradise. According to Islamic law, the Black Stone was originally a pure white jewel sent down from heaven by God to help guide Adam and Eve as they sought redemption after being expelled from Eden. Over the millennia, it is said that the stone gradually turned black, absorbing the sins of humanity. This transformation is not viewed as a flaw, but as a reflection of divine mercy. The stone bore the burden of human imperfection. The Black Stone predates Islam, having been venerated by various tribes in the pre-Islamic Arabian Peninsula. Even then, the Kaaba was a center of pilgrimage, though it housed many idols. When Prophet Muhammad established Islam and cleansed the Kaaba of idols, the Black Stone retained its spiritual status. During the reconstruction of the Kaaba, the Prophet is famously said to have personally placed the stone in its current position, affirming its significance for the Muslim Ummah. Physically, the stone appears as a collection of dark, smooth fragments bound together within a silver frame. It is relatively small, about 12 inches in diameter, and over time, where from centuries of pilgrims kissing, touching, or pointing to it during tawaf, the ritual of circling the Kaaba has polished its surface. Though its exact composition remains unknown, theories include meteorite, agate, or basalt, each adding to the stone's mystical allure. The Black Stone is also steeped in history and conflict. In the 10th century, it was stolen by the Karmatians, an extremist sect, and taken to Eastern Arabia. For 22 years, it remained lost to Mecca until its return, fractured and incomplete. Even so, it was lovingly reassembled, its fragments embedded in a silver frame and restored to its sacred place. Today, the Black Stone remains one of the most iconic and powerful symbols of Islam, not because of its material value, but because of what it represents: divine forgiveness, human frailty, and spiritual renewal. It continues to draw millions of pilgrims from around the world, each reaching for a moment of connection with the divine. 2. The Spear of Destiny. The weapon that pierced eternity. The Spear of Destiny, also known as the Holy Lance, is a legendary Christian relic that is believed to be the spear used by a Roman soldier to pierce the side of Jesus Christ during his crucifixion. Over the centuries, the Spear of Destiny has been associated with mystical powers and has been the subject of numerous legends and controversies. The Spear of Destiny is rooted in the New Testament, specifically in the Gospel of John. According to the account, after Jesus was crucified, the Roman soldiers wanted to ensure that he was dead before removing his body from the cross. To confirm his death, a soldier, traditionally identified as Longinus, thrust a spear into Jesus' side, from which blood and water flowed. This act fulfilled a prophecy from the Old Testament, which stated that the Messiah's bones would not be broken. The soldier Longinus, who is credited with the act, is a significant figure in Christian tradition. According to legend, Longinus was a centurion who, after witnessing the miraculous events surrounding Jesus' death, such as the earthquake and the darkening of the sky, converted to Christianity. The spear, therefore, became a symbol of faith and redemption, representing both the sacrifice of Christ and the transformation of Longinus. The story of Longinus and the Holy Lance became popular in Christian art and literature, particularly during the medieval period. Throughout history, the Spear of Destiny has been linked to various rulers and empires, with many claiming to possess the true relic. These claims were often tied to the belief that whoever held the spear would hold the power to control the world. The most famous of these claims are associated with Constantine the Great, the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity. Constantine is sometimes said to have possessed the Holy Lance, which he used as a symbol of divine favor. This is likely more legend than fact, but it set the stage for the relic's significance in later centuries. It was also associated with Charlemagne, the Holy Roman Emperor, who is often said to have carried the Holy Lance into battle, believing it granted him victory. According to legend, Charlemagne carried the lance through 47 successful battles, but died when he accidentally dropped it. In the 20th century, this lance became linked to Adolf Hitler. According to some reports, Hitler was obsessed with the Spear of Destiny and believed it would grant him the power to conquer the world. In 1938, after the annexation of Austria, the Nazis seized the Holy Lance and took it to Nuremberg, where it was kept until the end of World War II. After the war, the lance was returned to Vienna by American forces. The Spear of Destiny has been the subject of numerous legends and mystical beliefs throughout history, inspiring countless books, films, and other media. 3. The Cintamani Stone, the wish-fulfilling gem of the heavens. The Cintamani stone is one of the most mysterious and revered objects in Eastern spiritual traditions. A radiant, wish-fulfilling jewel said to grant its possessor any desire. Often described as a glowing stone that shines from within, the Cintamani is more than myth. In Buddhist, Hindu, and Tibetan lore, it symbolizes the highest levels of spiritual attainment, the purity of intent, and the path to enlightenment. The name Cintamani comes from Sanskrit, meaning thought jewel or wish gem. In many legends, it is compared to the philosopher's stone of Western alchemy, but where the philosopher's stone transforms lead into gold, the Cintamani transforms suffering into liberation and desire into awakening. In Hinduism, the Cintamani is associated with deities such as Vishnu and Shiva and said to be guarded by Nagas, serpent-like beings of great power. Some stories tell of it being hidden in the depths of the ocean or high in the Himalayan peaks, inaccessible to ordinary humans and protected by celestial forces. In Tibetan Buddhism, the Cintamani is closely linked to Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. Often you'll see statues of this deity holding a flaming jewel at their heart. This is the Cintamani, representing the ability to fulfill the purest wishes, relief from suffering, spiritual insight, and unity with all sentient beings. It is one of the four heavenly relics said to have descended from the heavens to guide humanity in times of darkness. Legends even hint at the extraterrestrial origin of the Cintamani. Some texts suggest it fell from the stars, or that it was given to early civilizations by beings not of this world. In the 20th century, mystics such as Nicholas Roerich tied the stone to Shambhala, a hidden kingdom of light in Tibetan prophecy, where it is said the Cintamani radiates energy that supports the earth during times of upheaval. The stone is said to bring healing, protection, and prosperity, but only to those with pure hearts and noble intentions. For the selfish or power-hungry, it remains inert. In this way, the Cintamani is not just a magical object, it is a mirror, reflecting back the soul of the seeker. Whether myth or metaphysical truth, the Cintamani stone continues to inspire those on the spiritual path. It is the symbol of a higher calling, a beacon guiding us toward our deepest truths and perhaps our divine destiny. 4. The philosopher's stone. The alchemist's ultimate secret, the philosopher's stone. This is one of the most famous symbols in Western alchemy, often depicted as a substance or object capable of transmuting base metals into gold. Beyond its material properties, the philosopher's stone is also associated with the pursuit of immortality, spiritual enlightenment, and the ultimate understanding of the universe. The origins of the philosopher's stone can be traced back to the early practices of alchemy in ancient Egypt, Greece, and the Islamic world. Alchemy was a proto-scientific and spiritual discipline that sought to transform and purify matter, leading to the perfection of both material substances and the soul. In Egypt, the god Thoth, known as Hermes Trismegistus in the Hellenistic period, was believed to have authored texts on alchemical knowledge. These texts, collectively known as the Hermetic Corpus, laid the groundwork for the alchemical tradition in the West. During the Middle Ages, alchemy flourished in the Islamic world and later spread to Europe. By the time alchemy reached Europe, the philosopher's stone had become central to the alchemist's quest. The stone was not merely a physical object, but also a symbol of ultimate knowledge and spiritual perfection. Alchemists believed that through the discovery of the philosopher's stone, they could achieve the magnum opus, the great work which involved the purification and transformation of the soul, leading to spiritual enlightenment and immortality. Sadui, creation of the philosopher's stone, was said to be the result of a complex and secretive alchemical process. This process was often described in symbolic and allegorical language, making it difficult to interpret. The stages of the magnum opus typically included nigredo, blackening, the initial stage of the process, representing the death or dissolution of the base materials. It symbolizes the breaking down of the ego and the beginning of spiritual transformation. Albedo, whitening, the purification stage where the material is cleansed and purified, symbolizing spiritual enlightenment and the emergence of the true self. Citranitas, the stage where the material begins to transform, often associated with the dawning of spiritual knowledge and the awakening of the soul. Rubedo, reddening, the final stage where the philosopher's stone is created. This stage represents the achievement of the great work, the culmination of the alchemist's spiritual journey, and the union of the soul with the divine. These stages were often depicted in alchemical texts and art, filled with complex symbols, cryptic language, and mystical imagery. The color changes associated with these stages were also seen as reflections of the inner transformation of the alchemist's soul. The philosopher's stone has captured the imagination of writers, artists, and philosophers for centuries and became a central symbol in Western esotericism and the occult, representing the ultimate goal of spiritual and material transformation. The stone has appeared in numerous literary works, from medieval alchemical texts to modern fantasy novels. It plays a significant role in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, whether seen as a literal substance or a metaphor for spiritual transformation. It represents the quest for ultimate knowledge, power, and immortality. 5. The Ark of the Covenant, vessel of divine power. The Ark of the Covenant stands as one of the most mysterious and revered relics in Judeo-Christian tradition. Said to be a gold-covered wooden chest built by Moses at the command of God, it held the 2 stone tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments, the foundational laws given to Israel on Mount Sinai. But more than a container, the Ark was believed to be the literal throne of God on earth, a focal point of divine presence and cosmic power. Described in detail in the book of Exodus, the Ark was constructed of acacia wood, overlaid with pure gold, and topped with a cover, known as the mercy seat, flanked by 2 golden cherubim with outstretched wings. From this sacred space, God would speak to Moses and guide the Israelites through the wilderness. The Ark's presence brought miraculous victories and terrifying judgments. When the Israelites crossed the Jordan River, the waters parted as soon as the priests carrying the Ark stepped in. When the walls of Jericho fell, it was the Ark that led the procession. Yet when mishandled or approached without reverence, the Ark could unleash lethal force, striking down those who violated its sanctity. For centuries, the Ark was kept in the Holy of Holies, the innermost chamber of the tabernacle, and later in Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. Only the high priest could enter this sacred space, and only once a year, on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It represented the meeting point between God and man. But then, the Ark vanished. After the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem in 586 BCE, the Ark disappeared from the biblical record. Its fate has been the subject of speculation for millennia. Some believe it was hidden beneath the Temple Mount. Others claim it was taken to Ethiopia, where it is said to reside in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum, guarded by a single monk who devotes his life to its protection. The Ark continues to inspire modern imagination, from scholarly debates and religious devotion to pop culture, including films like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. But beyond the legends, the Ark symbolizes the covenant between God and humanity, a sacred bond sealed by divine law, carried in a vessel too holy to touch. Whether lost forever or hidden in plain sight, the Ark of the Covenant remains one of the most powerful icons of sacred mystery the world has ever known. 6. The Ark of the Covenant, vessel of divine power. The Ark of the Covenant stands as one of the most mysterious and revered relics in Judeo-Christian tradition. Said to be a gold-covered wooden chest built by Moses at the command of God, it held the 2 stone tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments, the foundational laws given to Israel on Mount Sinai. But more than a container, the Ark was believed to be the literal throne of God on earth, a focal point of divine presence and cosmic power. Described in detail in the book of Exodus, the Ark was constructed of acacia wood, overlaid with pure gold and topped with a cover, known as the mercy seat, flanked by 2 golden cherubim with outstretched wings. From this sacred space, God would speak to Moses and guide the Israelites through the wilderness. The Ark's presence brought miraculous victories and terrifying judgments. When the Israelites crossed the Jordan River, the waters parted as soon as the priests carrying the Ark stepped in. When the walls of Jericho fell, it was the Ark that led the procession. Yet when mishandled or approached without reverence, the Ark could unleash lethal force, striking down those who violated its sanctity. For centuries, the Ark was kept in the Holy of Holies, the innermost chamber of the tabernacle, and later, in Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. Only the high priest could enter this sacred space, and only once a year on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It represented the meeting point between God and man. But then the Ark vanished. After the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem in 586 BCE, the Ark disappeared from the biblical record. Its fate has been the subject of speculation for millennia. Some believe it was hidden beneath the Temple Mount. Others claim it was taken to Ethiopia, where it is said to reside in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Axum, guarded by a monk who devotes his life to its protection. The Ark continues to inspire modern imagination, from scholarly debates and religious devotion to pop culture, including films like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. But beyond the legends, the Ark symbolizes the covenant between God and humanity, a sacred bond sealed by divine law, carried in a vessel too holy to touch. Whether lost forever or hidden in plain sight, the Ark of the Covenant remains one of the most powerful icons of sacred mystery the world has ever known. 7. The Holy Grail, Cup of Eternity, symbol of the soul. The Holy Grail is one of the most enduring and enigmatic relics in all of Western mythology and spiritual tradition. Often described as the cup used by Jesus Christ at the Last Supper and later to collect his blood at the crucifixion, the Grail transcends its role as a physical object. It has become the ultimate symbol of divine grace, spiritual fulfillment, and the quest for the sacred. In Christian tradition, the Grail is closely associated with Joseph of Arimathea, the man who took Jesus' body from the cross and is said to have used the cup to collect the Savior's blood. According to some legends, Joseph later traveled to Britain, bringing the Grail with him, where it became hidden and protected until the time was right for it to be revealed again to a worthy soul. This story merges seamlessly with Arthurian legend, where the Holy Grail becomes the focus of a mystical quest undertaken by King Arthur's knights. Not everyone is fit to find the Grail. It can only be discovered by those who are pure of heart, free from ego, and guided by spiritual vision. The Knight Galahad, in some versions the son of Sir Lancelot, is the one who ultimately attains it, not through strength or pride, but through humility and divine devotion. The Grail has been described in many forms: a simple wooden chalice, a bejeweled cup, even a stone or a vessel of light. It is elusive and ever-changing, just like the spiritual truths it represents. For some, it's a literal relic. For others, it's a metaphor for enlightenment, the soul's reunion with God, or the unlocking of the eternal within the temporal. Throughout history, the Grail has inspired artists, poets, mystics, and seekers. It has appeared in countless tales, from medieval romances to modern films, and always its meaning remains layered. It is the promise of divine contact, the longing for something eternal, and the inner journey to become worthy of the sacred. The quest for the Holy Grail is ultimately the quest to know yourself, to become whole, and to realize that the divine you seek has always been within you. 8. The Book of Thoth, the lost wisdom of the gods. The Book of Thoth is perhaps one of the most mysterious and powerful legendary texts in the history of esoteric tradition. Said to have been written by Thoth, the ancient Egyptian god of wisdom, magic, writing, and the moon. This sacred book was believed to contain the secrets of the universe, knowledge so profound that it could bend time, command nature, and awaken godlike power in those who read it. In Egyptian mythology, Thoth was the divine scribe who recorded the deeds of the gods and mortals alike. He was the mediator of balance, the master of hieroglyphs, and the one who taught humanity the use of language and sacred ritual. The Book of Thoth was said to contain spells, formulas, and cosmic truths, including how to speak with animals, resurrect the dead, control the elements, and even perceive the gods. According to legend, the book was hidden in the Nile, sealed, in gold, locked in a series of chests and guarded by deadly serpents. Only the most worthy, those pure in heart and free of greed, could ever hope to find and open it. Those who read it without reverence were cursed or driven mad. One famous tale speaks of a man named Setnekamwis, a prince and magician of ancient Egypt, who stole the book and suffered dire consequences for misusing its power. While the literal existence of the Book of Thoth has never been confirmed, the idea of it has lived on through the ages, especially in Hermeticism, a mystical tradition based on teachings attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, a Greco-Egyptian fusion of Thoth and the Greek god Hermes. The Hermetic corpus, a series of spiritual and philosophical texts, carries echoes of the book's wisdom, speaking of divine unity, cosmic order, and the path to enlightenment. In modern esotericism, the Book of Thoth is also linked to the tarot, especially the Thoth tarot deck, created by Aleister Crowley and artist Lady Frida Harris. This deck, dense with symbolism, astrology, alchemy, and Kabbalah, is considered by many to be a visual map of the lost teachings once held within the mythical book, whether real, metaphorical, or spiritually encoded in other works. The Book of Thoth remains a powerful symbol of forbidden knowledge, divine wisdom, and the sacred responsibility of truth. It asks one timeless question: what would you do if you held the wisdom of the gods in your hands? We want to sincerely thank you for taking the time to watch the video in its entirety. If you're interested in exploring more topics on spirituality, inner transformation, or mind philosophy, don't forget to subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel for more content on wisdom, spirituality, and personal growth. Or if you have time, check out other videos on this channel. Until next time.